stand by.
Good afternoon. This is a family's worst day, and I can tell you that it's deeply affecting every employee from the sheriff's office who's out here responded and is on scene. We know from a 911 call that we received around 9:30 this morning from a frantic father that said that his child has gone missing. His 5-year-old autistic child he couldn't locate. He told us that he last saw his child around 5 a.m. The child sleeps with him, and he was trying to get his son to drink something. His son didn't want it, and they both fell back asleep. He woke up at 9 a.m., saw that his son wasn't in bed with him, so he looked around the apartment, didn't see him there, became a little more frantic, started looking around outside and saw that the screened-in area, the screen had been broken and pushed open. He looked around, he hesitated for a second and called his mom, who they live with, who's an elementary school teacher, and called and contacted her to make sure that, hey, maybe my son's with him. Unfortunately, the son wasn't with her either. So during this half-hour time period, he then, from 9 o'clock to 9 a.m., when he woke up till 9:30, decides to call us. Within minutes, we're here. Matter of fact, over 140 deputy sheriffs showed up here today. Our aviation unit was here. Our drone deputies were out here. Our K-9, along with our dive team. Speaking with our K-9 handlers who deployed one of our bloodhounds, and when we're doing search and rescue, we know they're better than some of our police utility dogs that serve a different purpose, that the dog continued to go around this retention pond that's about 30 feet at best located behind the apartment. So at that point, he notifies the dive team to start here. Moments later, the dive team member that entered the water entered into about 5 feet or about waist-high water, felt what he believed to be a 5-year-old child, and indeed, unfortunately, this isn't the outcome any of us would ever wish to have. We ended up recovering a deceased 5-year-old child. I just spoke to the family, got done speaking to the grandmother, and asked her, what could the sheriff's office do for you? And she said, change this nightmare, wake us up from this nightmare. I said, is there a message that we can put out here today? And she said, tell people not to ever avoid getting swim lessons. So I'm going to honor those wishes. Anyone out there, regardless of the age of your child, regardless of the circumstances, they have special needs, it doesn't matter, get them swim lessons. We know scientifically proven that autistic children are prone and attracted to bodies of water. I'll tell you this, that I think it's important to note. This is our second autistic child that we have recovered who is drowned in this apartment complex in the Northdale area in less than 2 months. The second 5-year-old autistic child. Our victim here today just turned 5 years old. The family was kind of in a swing of celebrations. They just celebrated his 5th birthday. They also just celebrated that he got accepted into an elementary school. They were excited that they located a school here that was going to cater to his abilities and his learning style. So they were extremely excited. But now Monday, instead of planning the first day of school, they have to plan a funeral. What questions can I try to answer at this time?
Sheriff, what was the proximity between that retention pond and his home or apartment?
The proximity of the detention pond where our autistic 5-year-old victim was recovered, and the screened-in patio that he had broken through, pushed through to get to, I would say no more than 25 to 30 feet. He didn't travel far.
You kind of touched on it, but what are some of the additional challenges your deputies face when looking for a child who has autism, is nonverbal, and is only 5?
Yeah, great question. The question is, what are some of the challenges, not only when we try to recover a missing child, but when it's an autistic child? And Florida has a lot of water. Tampa's no exception. We have a lot of wooded area, retention ponds, and that certainly becomes a challenge. Matter of fact, I think that's why the deputies did such a phenomenal job today, that knowing that it was this complex, knowing the arriving deputy and supervisors who got here and saw that there were so many bodies of water inside this apartment complex, made the call right there within seconds. I need K9 and I need the dive team. Wonderful job by every responding employee here today.
Based on what you mentioned about 2 children recently having drowned in this complex, are there any like property requirements or laws when it comes to steepness of retention ponds like this? Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of any laws. I know around swimming pools there's some different laws and statutes in place. Nothing for a retention pond. And again, I see the advantages and disadvantages if there would be some fencing around retention ponds. Again, that might prohibit the water flow of why they're originally designed to hold water, so we're not driving through flooded streets. But again, another good question.
Do we know where that other kid was? It in the same retention pond or similar one?
The less than 2 months, the other 5-year-old that had drowned on this property as well lived in the rear complex. It was a separate and different retainage pond, not the same one as this child.
Any other questions?
All right, thanks for being patient.